The morning it all started didn't feel like the kind of morning where your life flips upside down. It was ordinary, almost boring. The kind of day where the biggest problem should have been whether you wanted scrambled or fried eggs. But for me, that was the day the world tried to remind me of my place and the day I decided I wasn't staying there. I was heading into the city, nothing flashy, just me in my dark sedan with a plain suit and a travel mug that still smelled like burnt coffee. The streets of Riverside always had that split personality: on one side, leafy homes with manicured lawns, and on the other, crumbling sidewalks that nobody bothered to fix. I grew up on the second side, so I knew both realities all too well. As I pulled onto Maple Street, I noticed the cruiser before it noticed me. Parked crooked on the corner, engine idling, a cop inside, slouched back like he owned the air we were all breathing. His name, I'd learned later, was Officer Dale Mercer, a man with a reputation in Riverside loud, where he should have been, silent cruel where he could have been kind. At first, I didn't give him a second thought. My tags were current, my license was clean, and I wasn't in the mood for trouble. But Mercer was in the mood for me. His lights flared sharp and unnecessary in broad daylight, and suddenly I was pulling over against the curb. He swaggered up to my window, leaning down with that smirk people like him always wear, like they know something you don't. "Morning, license and registration," he said, but his tone wasn't routine. It was a dare. I handed them over calm as I could. He squinted at my name, then at my face like he was searching for a reason to escalate. "So Marcus Reed, he drawled, nice car. Little fancy for around here, isn't it? What's a guy like you doing driving through my neighborhood?" My neighborhood, the way he said it made something in my chest tighten. I answered evenly, "Heading downtown for a meeting." "That a problem?" He chuckled low, stepping back just enough to rest his hand on the holster at his hip. "Depends. Guys like you always seem to be where you don't belong." That line hit me harder than the flashing lights had, because I'd heard it before. On playgrounds when I was a kid, in college lecture halls where professors assumed I didn't belong in advanced classes, in boardrooms where my ideas got brushed aside until someone else repeated them louder. Always the same message: you don't belong. But here's the thing, Mercer didn't know who I was. He saw a black man in a suit driving a car that looked too nice, and he thought that was enough. He didn't know I was the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He didn't know that my meeting downtown was with the president himself. Still, in that moment, none of that mattered, because right there, I wasn't the director. I wasn't the man who'd broken cases that stretched across continents. I was just another target for his prejudice. He tapped the side of my car with his knuckles, slow and taunting. "Step out," he ordered. I took a breath. A part of me wanted to pull rank right then to flash the badge tucked inside my jacket and end it. But another part of me, the part that had grown up on the wrong side of Riverside, knew that if I did, he'd learn nothing. He'd walk away thinking he almost had me, and tomorrow he'd aim at someone else without a badge, someone with no shield. So I stepped out. The sun was hot on the back of my neck, the street eerily quiet. Mercer sized me up, then did something I'll never forget. He drew his gun. Hands where I can see him, he barked, his voice cutting through the silence. For a split second, everything slowed. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding, like a drum, could see a curtain shift in a house window down the block. Somewhere a dog barked. I lifted my hand steady and locked eyes with him. "You're making a mistake," I said, calm but clear. He sneered. "No, you're the one who made the mistake, Reed, thinking you could drive through here like you own the place." And then it happened, the pivot that changed everything. A black SUV pulled up behind us, doors opening fast, men in suits stepping out like shadows. Mercer's smirk faltered. One of them approached, sharp voice cutting through. "Director Reed, are you all right?" The word director landed heavy in the air. Mercer's face drained of color as realization hit him. His gun wavered, then dropped to his side. He stammered, "Director, wait, you're FBI." I didn't answer. I didn't have to. The silence said it all. By the time we reached the White House later that day, the story had already outrun us. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashed, and Mercer's name was on every screen before sunset. He thought he'd humiliate me on a quiet riverside street, but instead he humiliated himself before an entire nation. And the president, well, he didn't hesitate. At the press conference, standing under those bright lights with the whole world watching, he leaned into the mic and said words that still echo in my head. There is no place in our country for officers who abuse power, who weaponize prejudice against the very citizens they swore to protect. Officer Mercer is no longer employed in law enforcement effective immediately. It was more than just a firing. It was a message, a line in the sand. And yet, walking away from that podium, I couldn't shake the thought, what if I hadn't been the director? What if I'd been just another Marcus Reed from Riverside? No badge, no power, no motorcade pulling up in time. Would I have walked away at all? That question haunts me, and maybe it should haunt all of us. Because Mercer wasn't unique. He was a symptom of something bigger, something rotting at the roots of the system. So here's where I leave it with you. Was justice really served that day? Or was it only served because of who I was? What happens to the people who don't have a title or a convoy or a president to speak their name out loud? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just my story, it's ours. Have you ever seen power abused right in front of you? Do you believe true justice is possible when it depends on rank, title, or recognition? Let's talk about it.